Okay, so, okay, so, this is something short I wrote to be uploaded at the exact time my flight to Japan is scheduled to depart. As of writing this, it's been 333 days since I decided I would go to Japan in 2026 and applied to what 298 days ago would become my first ever job. 290 days since I worked for the first time in my life. 243 days since I received my first ever paycheck. 236 days since I earned my first ever €1,000. 229 days since I got the thumbs up from my school that I would be able to take off early from school for my flight to Japan. 226 days since I made my first ever purchase over €500 and fulfilled a dream I've had for at least a decade by buying the ticket to my first ever flight alone. My first ever flight to Asia, my very own first ever flight to Japan. 225 days ago, I made another dream come true by purchasing my first ever business class ticket. 205 days ago, I slept over at a friend's for the first time in over half a decade. 174 days ago, I started 12th grade. 168 days ago, I made yet another dream of mine come true by booking tickets to the 2026 Japanese Grand Prix. 141 days ago, I uploaded my first ever video to reach 1,000 views. 135 days ago, I went to my first birthday party in over half a decade. 124 days ago, I managed to make yet another dream come true by booking my first ever flight in first class. 106 days ago, I spent my own money on shoes I wanted for the first time in my life. 37 days ago, I bought my first jeans in almost a decade. 24 days ago, I turned 19 years old. 23 days ago, I bought my first ever concert ticket. 22 days ago, I had my first real birthday party with friends in over 2 years. 2 days ago, I went on a random adventure after work. In 15 days, I will be leaving school early to fly to Japan. In 16 days, I will land in Japan and sleep in a capsule hotel for the first time in my life. In 17 days, I will have my first ever business class flight and my first ever night alone in a hotel room I booked and paid for myself. In 18 days, I will go to my first ever F1 race in person. In 21 days, I will fly to Sendai to visit my dream university. In 22 days, I will take my very first class flight. In 24 days, I will fly to Osaka to finally see one of my best friends again after almost 3 years. In 26 days, I will see Tokyo in person for the first time in my life. In 32 days, it will be exactly 1 year since I decided to go to Japan this year and apply for the job I ended up getting. In 33 days, I will go to my first ever concert. In 34 days, I will ride on a sleeper train for the first time in my life and fly back to Germany. In 35 days, I will be back in school, wishing I was still in Japan. In those 333 days since I decided I was going to be visiting Japan in 2026, I have changed a lot as a person and learned many things about myself and the world around me. I have gone through many ups and downs in that time, and one thing that this year has made me realize is that nothing is more valuable than time. and most things aren't as important as they seem. The most important rule in life is to live in the moment and enjoy the time you have when you have it, because one day you'll wish you'd used that time back when you had it, back when you had the chance to do so. And no matter what you decide to do, if you put your mind to it, in the end, it'll all work out just fine. If someone had come to me 1 year ago and told me next year you will be in Japan, I wouldn't have believed it, because I hadn't realized yet that I can't always rely on others to enable my dreams, but that I actually had to do work myself. Even now, as I am only 16 days away from my trip, I am still having trouble believing that in just 16 days I will be in Japan. As I'm already on my way to Japan when this goes live, I want to thank each and every person that made this trip possible. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys for helping me and believing in me. This trip wouldn't have been possible without all your guys' support. So please stick along for the ride as I jump head first into my first solo trip abroad. See you when I get to Japan. Goodbye.